What is up, enthusiasts? 80 Cedar Flags here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. In 1989, as we all know, Cedar Point opened up the one and the only Magnum XL 200. Being the first ever steel coaster to reach a height of over 200 feet and complete a full circuit, it was, to say the least, a really big deal. And enthusiasts from all over the world flocked to this park. And in 1989, after the success, Cedar Point said, how could we make another Magnum XL 200? How can we make a roller coaster that could replicate the success of the one and the only Magnum? Well, they made the world's tallest steel roller coaster, so the next logical step, make the world's tallest wood coaster. That is exactly what they did, and in 1991, Mean Streak was introduced to the public. At a height of 161 feet, with a max speed of over 65 miles an hour, this was, to say the least, the tallest wooden coaster in the world at the time. Manufactured by the Din Corporation and designed by the late Curtis D. Summers, this ride definitely had a bit of bite. And in its opening year, this ride had a lot of success. But unfortunately, throughout the next few decades, its reputation would plummet, so let's look back at Mean Streak today. I got to ride this from 2013 to its final year in 2016, and today, I wanted to look back at it, look at the ride itself, and tell you my experience to see if it really was that bad of a ride. Let's get right into it. This is Cedar Flags, and today, we are going to ask, was Mean Streak really that bad? So, what was it like? This area when Mean Streak was here, at least in the 2010s, it was absolutely deserted. Now, when you go to Cedar Point in this season, and you go see the area where Steel Vengeance is, it is absolutely packed. It might be a little too packed, it might be a little bit of a bottleneck, but back then, you would not see more than 50 people in this whole area on a good day. Anyways, very similar to how Steel Vengeance is, you would walk under the ride structure into the queue that was once again in the center of the ride. But with Mean Streak, there would be, well, absolutely no lines whatsoever. You would board your classic PTC wooden coaster trains with the normal restraint system, and you would go off. You would go into the same storage area as before, and go into that right-hand turn. And instead of 2 bunny hops, you go right into the lift hill. This lift having a much more shallow structure, and the structure actually going over the lift as opposed to under the lift. And then you reach the top. You could hear the screeching of the wood, and it is time to go down. Anyways, the ride starts off with a very shallow drop. No real forces whatsoever. And, well, to say the least, that's going to be a very big trend throughout this video. You go into 2 massive overbank turns, very similar to how Steel Vengeance has theirs, but, once again, a lot more forceless. After that, you go into my favorite part of the ride, which was the dive that was right before the turnaround. But even though this element didn't provide that much force, I think it was visually spectacular, especially if you were in the front row. And after that, you would go into the turnaround. And this was the only part of the ride that actually pulled a little bit of laterals. But anyways, it wasn't too much to be really that impressive, and at the same time, it was pretty slow. So you would creep around this turnaround and dive back into the structure. After this, you would turn left into the mid-course brake run. From my personal experience on Mean Streak did trim a bit harder than Steel Vengeance ever did. After this, you basically go into the second half of the ride, which is honestly similar to Steel Vengeance's second half, but just a lot less forceful. Though you would definitely feel that wooden coaster rumble. Now, these were basically just forceless airtime hills that are weaving in and out of the structure. Honestly, just imagine a ride like Steel Vengeance without any airtime whatsoever, and with a little bit of a rattle, and you have Mean Streak. Now, something I will like to say is that due to the fact that the ride was a lot slower, the duration was much longer. With Steel Vengeance finishing at about 1 minute and 10 seconds, Mean Streak finished at over 1 minute and 40 from the first drop to the final brake run. It was definitely a very long ride. So let's get into the question, was it really that bad? Well, in my personal opinion, no, it wasn't bad. I remember when people said that this was in their top 10 worst roller coasters, and I just thought to myself, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, at least to me. So I didn't really think the ride was that bad, but was the ride deserving of being RMC'd? And my answer is definitely yes. This coaster really didn't have anything that stood out too much, at least in the early 2010s. It didn't have any real forces, and of course, rides don't have to be forceful to be good. You have a lot of rides that aren't too forceful, like the Beast at Kings Island, that still provide a great experience because of the woods. Well, looking at Mean Streak, it's in a pretty bland location. Yes, it is right beside Lake Erie, and that definitely gives it a plus, but it's not wooded, and it's not in a very secluded location. It's kind of just there. So at the end of the day, I really don't think this ride had anything great to offer when it came to the park. I mean, you had a better wooden coaster at the front, which had even more historical value, and is a very well-rounded ride. You have rides that have better views of the park than this one, and you have rides that are of course more forceful. So at the end of the day, I think Mean Streak was not a bad ride, but I do think it was worthy of being RMC'd, and I think the coaster community as well as Cedar Point are both better with Steel Vengeance instead of Mean Streak. So if you got to ride Mean Streak, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And of course, let me know what you think about Mean Streak's replacement, Steel Vengeance. Do you think that you would enjoy a ride like Mean Streak? Let me know all of that. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and click the link in the description below to see merch and other accounts. This is Cedar Flags, and I will see you all later.